In this video, I'll be covering levels 0 to 9 of the Backrooms. And so, if you're new here, welcome, because you're gonna be imagining exploring these levels, what each of the Backrooms levels looks like from 0 to 9. And so, get ready. This is going to be a long one. So, hop in your beds and let's get your sleep credit card paid off. So, before I explain all of the levels, I'm going to explain what is the Backrooms. So it's an overview. So if you're not careful and clip out of reality in the wrong areas, you'll be ending up in the Backrooms. So the idea is that if you accidentally glitch out of the main reality, like in a video game, you could end up in an endless maze of strange, empty rooms and hallways. These places feel off like a distorted version of real life, often with old stained carpets, buzzing fluorescent lights, and endless repetition. And so, the Backrooms is divided amongst many different levels, each with its own unique look, its own looks, environment, and survival difficulties and hazards. And so now, let's us explore level 0. So now I will explain level 0. So starting off with level 0, it's the first level of the Backrooms. It is a non-linear space, resembling the back rooms of a retail outlet. Similar to its previous form, all rooms in level 0 appear uniform and share superficial features such as a yellowish wallpaper, damp carpet, damp carpet, and inconsistently placed fluorescent lighting. Okay, lighting. However, no two rooms within the level are identical. Linear spaces in level 0 are altered drastically. It is possible to walk in a straight line and return to its starting point. It's like a non-including room, almost like. Okay, due to this, and the visual similarity between said rooms, consistent navigation is extremely difficult. Devices such as compasses and GPS locators will not work here, and the radio will not work as it's distorted. So level 0 is entirely still and completely devoid of life, despite the fact that it is the primary entrance to the Backrooms. Contact with other wanderers within the level have never been reported. Presumably, a great number of people did not make it before exiting, the most likely causes being dehydration, lack of resources, and trauma due to sensory deprivation and isolation. Okay. However, there are no bodies have been reported by those who didn't make it. It's like as if they vanished from a video game but did not respond. Attempting to enter level 0 in a group will result in a separation of the group until the level is exited. So, as you explore this level, hallucinations are common. due to the endless sense of repetition. So you'll end up hallucinating, okay? So the most forms of hallucinations include humming from the lighting, increasing to a deafening volume, then abruptly silencing, the appearance of doors, the appearance of stairs, acute déjà vu, human speech resembling no known language, movement in a corner of your eye resembling insects crawling underneath the wrong paper, which disappears once the wall is observed directly. And so, now, let's talk about the main entrances and exits to and from level 0. So to enter this level, the main entrance is via no clipping from reality, as by how the Backrooms was started. In terms of exiting the level, exiting level 0 is only possible by no clipping, which will always result in entry to level 1, which is the next level. We are into level 1 of the Backrooms. So level 1 is the second level of the entire Backrooms. This level represents a typical warehouse with fluorescent lights hanging from the ceiling, occasional machinery such as forklifts and hallways and stairwells which peel off and lead to separate areas of this level. Oftentimes, you'll see puddles, and those puddles on the floor comprise of almond water, which will evaporate and condense into a thick fog, reducing visibility for wanderers who travel amongst those parts through the parts. Curiously, these puddles don't seem to evaporate and remain stagnant. So, level 1 has a consistent and reliable source of electricity, both to the lights, and to the various outlets on the walls which help many groups to survive. Due to the ease of reaching this level, many wanderers opt to either join or form a group to ensure their survival. This level contains various dangers that may pose a threat to wanderers. Examples include blackouts, which occurred within this level and last from minutes to even days, leaving the level without any light. So, during these blackouts, entire sections of this level will be plunged into complete darkness, allowing entities to emerge and hunt more successfully. While traversing through these said darker areas, it is advised for wanderers to carry flashlights as to scare off any unwanted enemies. Additionally, pieces of rebar or sharp metal may be viewed. You can see them as they are exposed from the walls, hanging, which harm any wanderers who are not careful and might hit the walls. Due to the fact that most of these metal pieces are coated in a thick layer of rust, wanderers will almost definitely contract tetanus, as should it pierce the skin. The room temperature of this level is quite high, sitting at roughly 30 to 35 degrees degrees centigrade, or 86 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit for those Americans on average. However, it has been noted to drop down significantly within the foggy areas. This level is roughly the same size as level 0 and possesses non-Euclidean properties which make traversing difficult at times, just like level 0. In other words, if you walk in a straight line, you may find yourself back at the starting area, and rooms could also change. Okay. Occasionally, crates filled with supplies such as almond water, canned food, and weapons can be found scattered around, spawning and disappearing at irregular intervals, which can aid wanderers in their journey. However, there is a chance for these crates to be simply filled with liquid paint, though the reason for this is unknown. And lastly, there are several specific areas within level 1 which are quite different in appearance and properties. That might be, so I'm not going to really cover about that, because I'm going to try and skim through all of the levels from 0 to 9. So let's talk about entrances and exits to and from level 1. So to enter level 1, wanderers are able to enter this level from level 0 by walking up a flight of stairs or by no-clipping, which is the most common way of entering this level. In terms of exiting, wanderers can exit level 1 by continuing to explore, as it usually leads to level 2 or back to level 0 via staircases or hallways. Another exit is through an unlocked door, which may lead to level 2. And that's going to be the next level. Now, let's talk about level 2. So level 2, also known as pipe dreams, is an infinite array of complex yet Euclidean maintenance tunnels that range in size and once in a variety of uses. Level 2's physical layout, whilst complicated, has certain commonalities to its design, which allows it to be mapped and understood. The tunnels themselves, despite following no strict flow on how they are structured, all contoured at strictly 45-degree angles, and the rough length of the hallways is always measured to be multiples of 5 when measuring the metric system. The various tunnels are also rather tight and narrow, either because of the original dimensions of the tunnel, or by the machinery, wiring, or any other industrial equipment strung along the walls and ceilings. The walls are built with withered, dirtied concrete, or even bricks in certain areas, the latter of which are usually in muddy brown or black hues in color. The texture of all wall surfaces are somehow somewhat chalky, regardless of the material of the wall itself, and usually leaves powdery residue on one's fingers if touched or rubbed across. In extremely tight corridors, this even leaves marks and stains on clothing, on occasional bruises on skins. Some hallways can only be as wide as one person. Okay. So level 2 is lit predominantly by buzzing fluorescent lights, similar to that of the previous levels. These lights, while sparser than the likes of level 0 and 1, still coat a large portion of the level in industrial white and orange hues. The wiring for these lights is more often not exposed, which led to various groups harvesting the level's copper. So, if you see an entity there, if you see an entity there, you have to walk back in the opposite direction. And so there's a big risk of encountering them. Okay. And so, in terms of the entrances, entering level 2 is most easily accessible from level 1 via traversing down any corridors that go on for longer than most corridors in that level. In order to exit this level, there are a few exits. Most exits will take you to levels 3, 4, or even back down to level 1, which are all accessed via an unlocked door. So in one of these exits would lead you to level 3, which is going to be the next level. So now, we are now in level 3 of the Backrooms. So level 3 is the 4th level, and is a series of long, dark, twisted hallways that work similarly to level 0. They all consist of randomly segmented rooms which form in no particular pattern, with extremely loud noises from machinery. These hallways are very narrow and enclosed, some requiring wanderers of average height to bend, turn, squeeze, hunch, crawl, and duck, or wind sideways to them. The walls are comprised of dirty brown bricks, usually covered in segments of copper pipes and mechanical components. The floors are made of an even dirtier gray tiled floor, while the ceiling is made entirely out of metal. Level 3 shares many similarities of level 2, such as the fact where the walls are typically lined with pipes. These pipes are less abundant, though, those of level 2, but they can still be found lining in the corners of most of the hallways. The echo of the vicious black sludge that flows through these pipes is one of the main sources of the level's abundant noise. The sludge in question is highly toxic and emits deadly fumes that can cause damage to the body's nervous system if inhaled, as well as second/third degree burns upon direct contact with skin. All studies attempting to analyze the chemical composition of the sludge has yielded no consistent results. So out-of-place electrical rooms can also be found randomly throughout the hallways of level 3. These electrical rooms can vary greatly in every single aspect, but the majority of them are extremely dark and contain a single generator. Level 3 is rich with resources such as almond water, false outlets, liquid pain, fire salt, and many more. And as such, many people use this as a way to stock some stock so that they can survive. Also, other objects not native to the backrooms can be found throughout the level, such as knives, lighters, bolt cutters, flashlights, and other miscellaneous weapons or supplies. Notably, level 3 is also the level in which Wi-Fi in the backrooms is at its strongest, sitting at a constant 3 or 4 bars out of 5, instead of fluctuating randomly like in a majority of these levels. So, this level is dangerous, unfortunately, as there are many entities present. You may see entities such as hounds, facelings, and death moths. It is almost impossible to traverse large distances without encountering them. And also, there's also a point where some of the levels are blocked by gates with doorways, just like similar to that of prison cells. And that's one of the other another aspect of that level. So now, I will cover entrances and exits to and from level 3. So there are many entrances in order to enter this level, and I'll mention a few of those entrances. So the first entrance is through unlocked doors on level 2, which commonly lead to level 3. And there's another way to enter this level via elevators. Elevators on level 4 and 5 can lead back to level 3. So in terms of exits, which also use elevators, you can use those elevators to go to level 4 and level 55. So level 4 is going to be the next level that I'll cover. Here is a 30-second tingle break. I need this glass of water. Just pretend that this is a glass of almond water that you are drinking. This will help me clear my throat so I can kind of speak a bit more clearly. Alright, so now let's move on to level 4. So, level 4 of the Backrooms is the 5th level, and it is the level where almond water can be found most frequently. If you hope for a break level, quote unquote, then level 4 is your luck. This level is called Abandoned Office. So, this level resembles an empty office building, though it is completely devoid of furniture. That's why it's called Abandoned Office. Some of the rooms have windows, though most of them are completely blacked out. Any windows that have not been blanked out are considered traps and should be avoided at no cost. If you try to look through a window, you'll just see white, a blank white light. Like hitting that. You cannot feel the glass, you cannot try to break the glass. It will not work. So, in short, avoid all windows. The reason why level 4 is really safe is because level 4 is mostly devoid of entities. Hounds and dollars are the only ones to be observed, and they're very, 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 very rare. One person claimed that they saw a smiler, but no evidence has proved this because of the lack of entities. There are lots and lots of wanderers on level 4 trying to stock up on almond water. Water coolers, vending machines, and the fountains containing almond water can be found scattered across this level. And level 4 is very easy to exit and also return to if you need almond water. Level 4 is the best place to meet other wanderers and find supplies like almond water. Before attempting to move onto the next levels, it is recommended that you stock up on almond water, as it will be needed. It's critical, especially in the next level, level 5 and level 6. And so, now let's talk about the entrances and exits to and from level 4. So in terms of entrances, there are many ways to reach this level. I will mention the most well one, and it is via the elevator from level 3. In terms of exiting this level, level 4 has occasional exits that lead to level 5 and level 6. Most exits take the form of office-style stairways or occasional elevators that may lead even back to level 3. And so now, level 5 is going to be the next level I will be covering. Let's change up the lighting a bit. It's better. Maybe a red coloring. Okay, so now we're going to cover level 5 of the Backrooms. So, level 5 is an infinite hotel complex with many rooms and halls. It is the 6th level of the Backrooms, and this level itself appears to be constructed in the 1930s with furniture dating back in 1920. There are 3 main areas in level 5 that are fully accessible. The surroundings of level 5 are littered with many decorations and furniture from the early 20th century, with the main hall being the most object-populated area of this level. This level is mostly clean, with little dust and dirt lingering on surfaces. It seems to clean itself as unclean spots disappear only a few minutes before appearing, after appearing I meant. The oddly pristine floors are well cared for areas make level 5 oddly unsettling when compared to other levels close by. Smooth jazz plays quietly throughout the level, throughout the halls via vintage turntables and speakers that are hooked up to a sound system. Though the choice in switching of music is random and out of place. Like, for example, it might change music in the middle of a chorus or verse of an old song, of the previous song I meant. So, level 5 is fairly mysterious and infamous for the strange noises that can be heard, such as distant party chatter from the other side of the wall. People claim that there is an unseen presence watching them around every corner, as evidenced by reports of incoherent whispers from behind them. Something tapping their shoulder, being alone, and the supposed watching eyes from the aged paintings scattered above, as if their paintings are watching them. Like I mentioned before, there are 3 areas that are listed that I'll be covering briefly. And so, the first area is called the main area. This area is the main section of level 5 and is the most common area to be discovered. The walls are covered in mahogany red and gold ornate wallpaper. Wanderers have even reported that the wallpaper has faces that stare at you, but the authenticity of these reports is questionable. The floors come in many variations, such as dark walnut wood, white marble, and exotic red and gold carpets as material. The halls themselves are very furnished with the previously mentioned material and decorations, including bookshelves, cabinets, sofas, and much more. So the second area that I'll cover is called the Beverly Room. It's also known as the Eternal Ballroom. And the Beverly Room is the main hub of level 5. The room itself is fairly spacious, with many doors on all sides. The number of doors seem to be random, and one wanderer reported hundreds of doors in the walls, floor, and ceiling. The room only contains a small, fanciful table in the center, illuminated by a large chandelier. Now the third and final common area is called the Boiler Room. This area of level 5 is fairly large, and it is cluttered due to the mass amount of old machinery placed within. This area contains large vintage machinery and intertwined industrial pipes littering the walls, causing the layout to be very tight and claustrophobic. Alright, so now let's talk about entrances and exits to and from level 5. So in terms of entrances, there are many entrances. A few of them are accessing an elevator in level 3, using an arcade in level 25, following an old-fashioned stairway in level 4. Okay. And in terms of exits, there are many exits. Again, I'm going to mention a few. You can return back up the stairs to re-enter level 4 via the old-fashioned stairway. and you could travel deep into the boiler room to get to level 6, which is the next level I will talk about. So if you go into the boiler room, into the dark hallway that goes into it, you'll know that you have reached level 6. So now, let's now talk about level 6 of the Backrooms. The background here is much different. There's no lights at all, which is why this level is what's gonna match the theme. It's why this level is dark. So level 6, the 7th level, is a surprising level, because this level is much darker than the previous levels. This level is close to being pitch black. Very little is known about the actual structure of level 6, as this level is shrouded in total and complete darkness. No light permeates this level, and light sources brought into this level have no function. So if you got a flashlight, too bad, so sad, the flashlight won't help you much. Navigation of level 6 is carried out by feeling one's ways through the darkness, feeling the walls, and entering passageways. So if you feel through the walls, you're feeling through the darkness, which has revealed that this level is comprised of a seemingly endless series of tight hallways made of smooth, cold material, like concrete. So that's how it's found. Just navigate through the walls along the sides of the rooms. You can enter and feel the doorways that go into that. The layout of this level is similar to level 0, without any light, and the material being concrete. So in addition to being really dark, level 6 is also eerily silent, akin to a soundproof room. To explore level 6 is to subject oneself to a slow journey through complete darkness, total silence, and utter isolation. As such, most people who have spent more than a few minutes in level 6 have reported feelings of paranoia, dread, anxiety, and rising tension due to the unknowable nature of which may lie in the darkness around them. Several witnesses have also reported occasional auditory hallucinations, such as scuttling sounds, breathing, or whispering. Those who have spent extended amounts of time in level 6 recall feeling as they are or they're the only ones unable to see. So level 6 is largely regarded as one of the most dangerous early levels in the Backrooms. However, investigations have shown that as of now, no entities have been found in this level. Despite this, few people seem to leave level 6, because maybe they might get lost in the darkness. So now, let's talk about entrances to and from level 6. So in terms of entrances, as mentioned in level 5, level 6 can be accessed through the boiler room in level 5. In terms of exits, exploring deep into level 6 can lead to a stairway down to level 7. And the easiest way to find the stairwell is to listen for the faint sound of waves. And once you hear waves, you'll know that you're getting closer to the entrance to level 7. Okay, so I hope you are enjoying this video so far, and hopes you're getting some more tingles. By now, you should be feeling a bit more sleepy, as I have gone through a good chunk of the backrooms. So, here is a little break before we proceed through the levels. A good 2 minutes. This is a paper straw. Just imagine if you are going to sip some almond water. This straw is going to be your nifty straw. And this. Here's a fun fact. This is not related to the backrooms, but years ago, we used to serve plastic straws. Straws made out of plastic, but since people are concerned of the environment, we're moving into paper straws. So we as society has been using paper straws nowadays if we go to restaurants. So here are some balloons. These ones are very, 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 very made out of like rubber. Use them for parties. Okay, I'm gonna blow one right now. Okay, so now let's move on. We're ready to move on. We are into level 7 of the backrooms. So level 7 is the 8th level of the backrooms. Level 7 is an impossibly large ocean that seems to stretch infinitely in all directions, despite the absence of fixed light sources within this level. A dim natural light is present across this level. Detailed exploration of this ocean is sparse due to the extreme danger and the amount of preparation it requires to navigate. What we know of level 7 is as follows. Level 7 is largely unexplored, but it is understood to be composed of 2 rooms, 2 sections. The entrance room and the ocean room, or something like that, containing the ocean itself, with a high concrete ceiling suspended above the water. The entrance room appears to be most readably available point of entry to level 7, being directly at the bottom of the stairs from level 6. This room is fully furnished with a bookcase against the left wall containing several books of unknown origin, a small coffee table, a single chair, and a fluorescent ceiling lamp. The carpeted floor is covered with a shallow pool of water, no deeper than a bottle. And across the room, from the staircase to level 6, is a doorway to the ocean. The vast majority of level 7 is composed of the ocean outside of the entrance. The door to the entrance room is located in a fixed spot on the concrete ceiling, roughly 4.5 meters above the surface of the water. This entrance to the ocean kind of acts as like a gravity switch because the room has specific gravity, but when you enter through the passageway, gravity turns sideways and now you're going to fall sideways. So the doorway is actually a ceiling. Once you pass through, it turns from a doorway to a ceiling in terms of gravity. And now you're falling as you enter. So you enter through that doorway, and as a result, it flips and you fall through the ceiling into the water. So the water, the ocean, is split in many levels of light, and one of them is called the Midnight Zone. There's many zones. I'm not going to cover all of the zones in this video. I'm trying to skim all through these levels. So now let's quickly talk about the entrances and exits to and from level 7. And so, speaking of entrances, you will enter level 7 through the staircase down from level 6, as I mentioned before. And in terms of the exits, there is one well-known exit that takes you to the next level, level 8. This exit is one of the harder to reach exits because it requires you to dive through the ocean. So this exit can be found in an underwater cave on the side of a particularly tall mountain toward the bottom of the Midnight Zone. In other words, you have to dive deep into the Midnight Zone in order to reach here. And once you enter through this so-called mountain, you will enter the next level, level 8. Before we explore level 8, I'm going to give you a 30-second break of tingles. It's a pretty nice goldfish, isn't it? Very, very, very pale, I can see. Let's go fishing a bit. That's another one. Alright, let's go back and explore level 8. So, level 8, we are now in level 8. Okay, level 8 is the 9th level of the Backrooms, and it is the last of the initial 12 whose environment was wholly enclosed. So after this level is going to be the first level that's going to be outside or something like that. And so this level is comprised of a cave system. So a sprawling network of underground caves. Its web of tunnels is interwoven into a suffocating prison-like chamber. It is cold, dark, and fraught with peril, predators lurking in every turn. The environment of level 8 is thoroughly inhospitable. Oxygen here is often limited. The air in many caverns is foul and stagnant, harboring dangerous concentrations of CO2. Some contain harmful gases such as hydrogen sulfide, chlorine, ammonia, or a raw compound similar to Rixa gas. Deaths from asphyxiation are common, though they pale in comparison to the sheer loss of life by drowning alone. Almond water flows freely across the caverns, ebbing and flowing chaotically under the influence of unseen tides. Many caves are partially or fully waterlogged, inaccessible to most except experienced wanderers and divers. Fluctuating water levels mean that some networks are particularly prone to sudden, spontaneous flooding and submerged. Bone-dry chambers may be completely submerged in a matter of seconds. So because of that, some of the locations of this level can be inaccessible. And so now, let's talk about entrances to and from level 8. So, in terms of entrances, there's an entrance to the underground cave like I mentioned before, through the entrance of that mountain found in the Midnight Zone in the previous level, level 7. In terms of exiting this level, falling through the floor randomly will get you to the next level, level 9. You're almost there, and I cover the 10th level of the backrooms from level 0. So, if you made it here, you're very, 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 very patient wanderer, okay? And now you're onto level 9. Level 9. So level 9 is the 10th level of the backrooms. This level seems to be an infinite suburban area. So, it is an infinite suburban area at midnight. This level has darkness similar to that of level 6, although not as dangerous. The houses vary in design and size, and each are completely different. Although there are reports of spotting 2 houses near each other that are the same, like replicas. The houses of level 9 appear to be furnished and fairly new and modern, although there is no power source for the lighting system to function. Some houses have a chance of being totally empty. Many useful objects, such as pockets, can be found inside the houses in areas similar to them. The furniture of these houses is what a person would expect from a normal house, such as sofas, TVs, beds, refrigerators, toilets, printers, and PCs, etc. Items that require a power source are not functional. Some of these houses have fully furnished yards at the back of the house. Another anomalous property of this level is that you can find two houses weirdly glitched inside of each other when traveling far, which is physically impossible. The streets of level 9 are the most dangerous area of this level. The wet, asphalt roads are unpainted and are covered with leaves in some areas. The stone sidewalks are normal and don't seem to have any anomalous oddities. Any walkways that lead to grass fields will lead to level 9.1, which is one of the Backrooms sub-levels. Wandering off the walkway into the fields for some reason would lead to level 10. The street lamps are usually powered off and are inactive, although some may flicker off on occasion and are sometimes even powered. It is unknown where the power originates. Who knows? Maybe from a generation, maybe from a generator, maybe from a solar panel. No one really knows. My eyes are rubbing. I have to rub my eyes because allergies are starting and it's bugging me out. It's driving me nuts. So be aware of the foggy mist that can appear due to the fog being a spawning mechanism for mangled. So it's one of the entities. So speaking of entities, there are many entities in this level. Entities that can appear in level 9 are death moths, smilers, skin stealers, hounds, and many others. So now, let's talk about entrances and exits to and from level 9. So speaking of entrances, as mentioned before, falling through the floor randomly in level 8 would lead you here in level 9. And to exit, like I said, if you wander off the walkway into the fields, you're going to reach level 10. And there is another exit by following this arrow street signs after 100 and 200 miles. Although this will be the only case when following the signs. Okay. And after this level 10 would be the next level. So, this is Backrooms Levels 0 to 9 explained in ASMR format. This was like from the polls. You guys voted for this, guys or girls, and I gave you this as a result. So I hope you enjoyed. It took me 1 hour and plus, 1 hour plus to record everything. So if you did get your tingles, please give this video a thumbs up by gently tapping the thumbs up button. If you're still awake, comment down below which level of the Backrooms that I covered in this video seemed the most weird and fascinating for you. And so, I hope this video will make you fall asleep, ease off your sleep debt, and finish off your whole entire balance of your sleep credit card. This sleep credit card has a high interest rate, so you will have to be careful in clearing and managing your sleep debt. And so I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you next time. I'll see you later.